We're getting up before everybody else.
My eyes are burning, I'm starting to feel dizzy, giving me more of a headache.
You see it in some discrete athletes. So Roger Federer claims to sleep around about 12 hours.
Studies have shown that while sleeping more than 8 hours carries an increased risk of heart disease, obesity, and diabetes, and a 30% increased risk of mortality.
The links are there. Sleep correlates with all kinds of health problems.
An average adult needs between 7 to 9 hours of sleep. But still, over 35% of all adults are sleep deprived, and between 5 to 10% of all people regularly oversleep. We know that a lack of sleep can harm us, but also sleeping too much can be detrimental. Whoa, okay, what's going on there? My name is Dement, and today we'll see how oversleeping destroys our bodies. (1963) San Diego, California. A teenager named Randy Gardner met up with two of his classmates. Randy thought that sleep wasn't that important, and so he proposed to his friends to stay up for as many days as he could. I mean, what could go wrong there? The experiment was originally meant for a high school science fair, but news spread to scientist William Dement, who immediately took a plane and flew down to San Diego. The trio, now a quartet, started the experiment. In the first hours of the experiment, everything seemed to be going well. But on the second day, the teenagers started having troubles focusing. Okay, what's this? A circle. Great. And that? A triangle. Perfect. And that? A mobile device which will be invented in a few decades to communicate with people all around the world, find answers for every question and store cat photos. Okay, weird. Eventually also his speech started to slur and he couldn't often hold conversations. And a bit later he started hallucinating. Huh? Randy, what are you doing? Randy? I'm the famous 200-pound Afro-American football player Paul Lowe. Now get out of my way or I will tackle you. Randy, you a skinny high school student. As the days passed, he hallucinated more and more until he broke the Guinness Book World Record. After 260 hours of staying awake, Randy could go to sleep. Initially he seemed to recover quite quickly from his experiment, but later reported that he had insomnia. And this is one of the reasons why the Guinness Book World Records do not feature any sleep deprivation experiments anymore. In subsequent years, scientists found out how sleep works and what went wrong in Randy's brain. Throughout the day, the body releases different hormones which make us feel awake or tired. When we fall asleep, we enter non-REM sleep. Our heartbeat and breathing slows down and our muscles relax. Our body temperature then drops and our brain waves become slower. After a while, we enter REM sleep. Here our brain activity and our heart rate increase, and we start to dream weird stuff. You had a long day? Why not dream about getting slapped by Dumbledore with a giant fish cause you didn't clean your room? During REM phase, also neurotransmitters such as acetylcholine are released. Neurotransmitters are molecules which are used to send messages between brain cells. Normally our brain would cycle between non-REM and REM phases while balancing our neurotransmitter levels. But in Randy's case, his sleep deprivation completely destroyed his balance. Neurotransmitter levels in the brain which are responsible for vision are often affected first by sleep deprivation. Especially acetylcholine becomes dysregulated and transmits spontaneous signals. This means that the visual areas of the brain become stimulated, often when they shouldn't, and we might see or experience things which are not there, as it happened in Randy's case. Later, also other neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin or noradrenaline are also affected. Abnormal serotonin signaling is associated with hallucinations and even psychiatric disorders such as schizophrenia. This explains why Randy Gardner thought he was a buff football player. The thing about Randy's case is that he only stopped sleeping for a short period of time. This mostly causes temporary changes in the body. However, the issue becomes much more serious if we are chronically sleep deprived or oversleep. Do you sometimes have the feeling that you could just sleep forever? And the best days are when you sleep until afternoon. Maybe you binge watched some small to medium sized science YouTube channel last night. If so, well, thanks. But if that's not the case and you just regularly oversleep, then you might be one of the 4 unlucky % who suffer from hypersomnia. Hypersomnia is a disorder where people chronically oversleep. Oversleeping can be caused by a sleep disorder, substance abuse or depression. In these cases, it is often impossible for a person to function throughout the day. But we also just might be used to sleep at least 10 hours a day, and this might actually be the definition of oversleeping. So this could happen to everyone, but don't worry for now. Chronic oversleeping is also characterized by some symptoms, so let's look at them. Affected individuals might sleep a lot but are still tired. Oh. As we said earlier, our sleep is coupled to the release of hormones and other chemicals. When we chronically oversleep, we might disrupt this balance and send our body signals that we actually need more sleep. And this then makes us tired. And in these cases, we cannot just fully go gamer mode and drink up to 12 cans of soft drinks a day. It just won't help us to re-establish this balance. Regular headaches in the morning are also a sign that something is wrong. As we've said, oversleeping can cause a disruption in neurotransmitter release. Besides the already mentioned acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter serotonin is also involved in our sleep. Throughout the night, serotonin levels steadily increase, and in the morning it tells us that we should wake up. If we oversleep, this mechanism doesn't work properly anymore and we might get headaches. Besides that, sleeping might also deprive our bodies of waters and nutrients, and this also might cause headaches. You might not say, no, Clemens, sleep is always great, I just love it. Who cares about headaches? Well, think twice. Oversleeping is associated with a variety of diseases, including heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, or Alzheimer's disease. Yeah, what a bummer. It is not entirely clear how this works, but while we sleep, our immune cells move through our bodies and try to find intruders. With intruders, we mean bacteria or viruses. In order to stimulate immune cells, our bodies also release cytokines. Cytokines are normally very useful in order to fight off infections. But if we sleep too much, our immune system can become too active and then cause a chronic inflammation. This inflammation then can contribute towards all of the aforementioned diseases. But it doesn't really stop here. Long sleep is also associated with obesity. This is also still debated, and there is an argument that people who sleep a lot just generally burn less energy. However, some studies have also corrected for that, and they still found an effect of long sleep on obesity. Another possible explanation is that our body adjusts its metabolism according to the sleep-wake cycle. Oversleeping, however, disrupts this process, and we might have changes in metabolism. Again, there are also some hints for that, but it's still debated. You know what is not debated? The positive effects of healthy food on your metabolism. With that, welcome to today's sponsor. Just kidding. Oversleeping doesn't only make us sick, but it also might decrease our fertility. A study in Korea found that women undergoing in vitro fertilization who overslept had a harder time to conceive. If men sleep too long or generally have a bad sleep quality, they are also less likely to impregnate their partner. In both cases, there might be an explanation with hormones being regulated by the sleep-wake cycle and also having some impairments here when we oversleep. Does it mean that we can replace condoms with a lifestyle of bears during winter? Well, of course not. It's just a correlation. And to top all of this, oversleeping can also decrease our lifespan. A study has shown that people who sleep over 9 hours per night have a 30% greater risk of dying than those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. In comparison to sleep deprivation, these deaths are more attributed towards non-heart diseases. Yeah, all of this might sound bad, but again, it's a bit more complicated. You see, sometimes it's a bit hard to say what causes what. Does oversleeping shorten our lives, or do people who actually have some underlying medical condition and might have a shorter lifespan sleep more? Again, there is some effect of oversleeping, but the question is how much of these 30% are really explained by oversleeping. You might not be inclined to sleep less, but that's also an issue, as we will see. We all know that sleep is important, but sometimes we sacrifice sleep for other things. For example, you could aspire to be an entrepreneur. The algorithm feeds you with self-proclaimed hustlers and you want to join the grind. You're already a proud crypto owner, not Bitcoin, that's mainstream, but the real currencies of tomorrow. Similar to your favorite Sigma YouTubers, you start to wake up at 4 in the morning to meditate, go jogging, spend an hour for your skincare and eventually start working. In a 2 minutes break, you take your vitamin supplements. No, don't do that, we covered that, don't. In all of your grinding, you forgot that sleep is important. Even without Sigma grinded YouTubers, already over 70 million people in the United States sleep too little. And this is bad. It is proposed that 20% of all injuries that result from car accidents can be associated with sleep deprivation. But sleep also changes how our body works. Similar to oversleeping, sleep deprivation can also change our neurotransmitter levels. Especially norepinephrine, epinephrine, and catecholamine levels are affected. Sleep deprivation can also lead to the release of cortisol, which can activate parts of the central nervous system and change our sensitivity of insulin. And this might then contribute towards type 2 diabetes. Sleep deprivation also increases the release of cytokines. And again, cytokines activate the immune system, which then can overall lead to chronic inflammation. And this might then also contribute towards a couple of diseases, as we've already seen, including heart disease and a high blood pressure, and so on and so on. Similar to oversleeping, sleep deprivation is a game where balanced levels of hormones and neurotransmitters are disrupted. But not only hormones need to be balanced, also the fight between good and evil. And with that, welcome to today's sponsor, Rage. Still kidding, but there will be a sponsor. At a more advanced level, sleep deprivation can overstimulate parts of the brain and lead to permanent brain damage. In this case, a process called neuroplasticity can be impaired. Neuroplasticity means that we form connections between existing brain cells. These new connections then help us to learn new things. Through sleep deprivation, neuroplasticity works less efficient and our brain has troubles to perform well. Recently, it has also been shown that small changes in the brain might even start if we do not sleep properly for one night. Cheers! We live in a society where everything needs to be faster. Unfortunately, many of us sacrifice sleep in this process. But sleep deprivation and oversleeping are both bad for us, as they can disrupt internal processes in the body. So how should you sleep? Maybe help your internal processes and try to have a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time. Daily exercise and sunlight exposure help you sleep as well. But don't exercise close to bedtime. Try to avoid excess light in your bedroom, as it helps your body clock. If you still have the feeling that your sleep quality is bad, you might consider visiting a sleep center where they can evaluate your sleep quality. And now we come to today's promo. I want to promote the quality of your sleep. Yeah, all of this build up just for this joke. But no, sleep is important. Please take care of yourself. You wanted me to cover this video, so what should I cover next? Let me know in the comment section, and otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, you might like it, and also subscribe if you're new here, hit the bell button and do all of this other great YouTube stuff. And with that, I'll see ya. If you want to know how we could reverse aging or why vitamin supplements could be dangerous, you might like these videos.